Well, everybody, it's finally happening. We're starting up the no DLC Great One grind on the no DLC playthrough. You guys voted for Whitetail back when I did a poll during a live stream, so that's what we're going to be doing. But I figured to mix it up a little bit and hopefully get lucky, we're also going to kill some moose at some point to try and maybe get a moose respawn to come back as a Great One. And who knows, maybe we'll even go to Hirschfelden and try to get lucky with a red deer. I guess we'll see how things go, but we're going to start with the whitetail, and this will be a good first buck to start with. Let's go ahead and get lined up on this thing and take her down with the 270. Honestly, using the 270 is not going to be too bad. I think once we get some perks and skills going, it's actually going to be a decent gun to grind with. So here's to hoping. Let's see if that actually pans out in the long run. There's our little whitetail deer. This one's honestly not too bad at 213.57. Really good looking buck to start the day off with. And we've got another herd across the way as well. So let's get lined up on one of these. Since I only see one of them, let's use this 7mm to hopefully get this guy down a little bit faster. Now, it would be nice if he would go broadside because it looks like he's being a little bit stubborn. But maybe we'll be able to make this. I mean, we hit him. I don't think he's gonna die quickly, though. All right, let's go ahead and add another one into the muscle memory perk. This is honestly a really important one because it increases the firing speed of your bolt action rifles. Increased ready speed after firing for all weapons is what the level 2 gets you. And that's pretty important when you're trying to get multiple deer down from one herd, so we're gonna go with that. Well, there's the second deer that we unfortunately messed up. That was a little bit too high and looks like to the right as well. But it is what it is. We still got him down. And there we have another whitetail zone. This one kind of along the coastline. You know, I used to have a zone around here on my main account during the beginning of our Leighton Great One grinding that we did back probably 6 or 7 months ago. Maybe a little bit less. Back when we first started the herd management whitetail grind. And I used to have a zone here and I really liked it. So hopefully we could keep from accidentally deleting this zone because it's usually a pretty good one. Wow, that is a herd of 8. That's pretty crazy. Now the thing about whitetail and Call of the Wild is usually if your herd is bigger than like 6, they don't all come back to the same zone when you kill them. That is something that a lot of people get really confused about. It's just a really strange thing. I don't know why whitetail do that, but almost any group that's bigger than 6 will dissipate and come down to like 5 or 6 animals. And you know what that means. Any of the ones that don't respawn here are probably going to form new herds, which is why you end up seeing new zones pop up throughout your grind that you weren't used to seeing, even though you've checked over that area multiple times. A lot of times they actually weren't there, and they ended up showing up shortly after a little bit of grinding. Well, this zone right here is probably going to suck, and that doe is terrible at being aware of her surroundings. But the rest of the group spooked off, unfortunately. And that's kind of why this is going to be such a bad spot. Literally all of them except that doe spooked off before I even got to see them that well. So this is going to be a troublesome zone to try and grind. And it's once again a herd of 8. Ah, man, these big zones are just getting placed very strange. You know, this South Coast is always one of the harder places to hunt because the zones are usually really spread out and they're in brushy areas. So we're going to try and, I would imagine, manage these zones down. I haven't fully decided if this is going to be a herd management grind or if it's not going to be. I'm thinking we might do a 50-50 mix of like managing some of the zones I don't like and then not worrying about the rest of them. Ooh, there we go. That is another herd right there. Honestly, that is a really good looking group with a really nice buck in it. Actually, a couple of really nice bucks, but we weren't able to get the other one. You know, once we're able to actually spot animals with our scope, that's going to make things like this a lot easier so I can actually get them highlighted after we take a shot. All right, so it turns out this is actually the same herd that was at the zone back here, so I guess that's one of the bucks I just didn't see in that group, but either way, it's a really nice buck. Probably 230s, maybe even 240s. Yeah, 235. That's a solid deer right there. And we've also got a zone right here. You know, this is another zone that I hunted quite heavily on the main account for a while. And then eventually we abandoned it because it's just not a super efficient one to hunt usually, as you can only get to one zone via your tent, and it kind of is a bit of a waste if you're only going for one zone in the area. But maybe it'll be different on the no DLC playthrough. We're not doing crazy, insane levels of herd management with this grind, so maybe we can actually find some use in hunting all these zones in the south, but I would not count on it. There's so many better places on the map that have more zones condensed into a smaller area that it's going to be hard to add a zone like this in and make it actually time efficient. I think I got a little bit of an idea on where we're going to end up placing this tent, because I do want to have our tents in places where we can access multiple zones. So I think we're going to go ahead and put the tent probably somewhere like right up here. Maybe even just like right here. That way we can access these zones pretty quickly. We'll figure it out. There is another buck, level 2, 156, so nothing too huge. I think this will be a pretty good spot to place this tent, because it gives us access to this zone that is about 215 away, as well as this one, which is about 211 away. So I'd say this is a good spot to put it. Now we're just going to need to either buy a new tent, or yeah, we're going to have to buy a new tent. So what we're going to end up doing is removing that from the loadout, and then we're going to go into the store and purchase a couple of tents that are a little bit better color. I kind of like the camo ones, so we're going to go with one of those for now. We might buy another one at some point, but for now we're just going to go with one. I decided to put a tent up here by one of my favorite lakes, and sure enough, we've got one zone here, but it's not exactly a good zone. There's barely any deer here, and the ones that are really small, but let's take one of them down and see if it'll respawn as something a little bit better than that. You know, the no DLC grind is honestly pretty rough. So far, we've only killed like 7 deer over the course of 30 minutes, which is definitely not amazing. It's really difficult to get things done as a fresh account with no DLCs at all. So this is going to be quite the challenge. I'm sure as we get going and we get more perks and skills, it'll make it easier with follow-up shots and stuff. And kind of once we learn our map and get the deer settled into their permanent zones and get through the phase of them creating new zones and not respawning in the same big herds. Once we get past all that, I'm sure it'll be a little bit easier, but it'll still not be anywhere near as efficient as we've got it on our main account with getting like 80 to 100 deer an hour. That's just not going to happen with no DLC weapons or anything like that. That's a really nice looking buck right there. So let's try to get him down. He's definitely bigger than most of the ones that we've seen today. So I think we should be able to get him down and him be one of our best. And just like that, he's down. You know what's crazy? Even before starting up the actual Great One grind, we already have a really massive diamond whitetail in the lodge just from hunting around and earning some money during the first few episodes. So we already have one of the big trophies that we could potentially get from this grind. Now we just got to hope for the big trophy to show up. See if we can get a shot into this guy. That should be a dead whitetail. That looked like we led it properly. Here is this nice buck right here. 213.05. Absolutely smoked him. And this zone, it does look like has gone down to 5. This was one of the zones that had like 8 or 9. And it has gone down to $5 like I mentioned. A lot of them will probably do. So that's something we're going to have to watch out for throughout this grind. I got a feeling a lot of zones are going to be doing that. I can't tell if this is the buck that we hit or if it's just one that has the same rack shape. But either way, it's now a dead deer. You know, I'm really debating if we should just focus on earning money the next couple episodes of this series, or if we should just try to earn our money from grinding for the Great One. I mean, it would definitely be killing 2 birds with 1 stone if we just grinded for the Great One, and that was how we also earned our money, but it sure would not be a quick way to do it, as whitetail don't give a lot of cash, so I'm really thinking that we should head to multiplayer possibly, or maybe Hirschfelden in our single player, and hunt some red deer. I don't know which one we're going to do yet, but, you know, if you guys have a suggestion on what you would prefer, of course, leave it in the comments and let me know. You know what? I think it is time to earn some money via red deer in multiplayer, because let's face it, We're going to need it, especially with how much money tents are. Let's go ahead and get lined up on this nice level 7. And that should be a solid hit on him. We got a couple more red deer over here. We're going to try and drop both of them. But I don't know if that's going to be possible considering they're pretty close together. We might end up spooking. Actually, it didn't spook, so that's nice. I guess they were far enough apart. I've always been a big fan of how Call of the Wild does the DLC maps where you can play them in multiplayer even if you don't own the DLC. It's really helpful, especially to players that don't want to have to purchase the map or maybe want to test it out before they do purchase it. It's really nice that they at least give you that opportunity to where you don't even have to own the map to play it. Now, unfortunately, console players get kind of screwed over because you have to have either Xbox Live or whatever PlayStation's online service is called in order to even access multiplayer features, but that's not really on the devs. That's more on the actual creators of those platforms. There is the second of the red deer. This one is giving us about 1,200 cash once again. And now we're going to be getting not as much as we normally would for red deer for these first few, as we have to get our consecutive harvest up. But once we get that consec harvest up, we should be averaging like 1,400 to 1,600 per red deer, which will really stack the cash up quickly. Sadly, we whiffed this third one pretty badly. I don't even know where we hit it. Of course, it was vertebrae. Well, that makes sense. Oh my gosh, no way. Oh, we got a level 9. Let's go. Oh my gosh, that's the last thing I expected to see. Oh, what is that one? Okay, I gotta make sure that this isn't like a cheated server or anything. Let's make sure. Okay, that isn't another level 9. We're good. We're good. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I can't believe that. We just gotta wait for a good shot. I cannot believe that we found a level 9 red deer in multiplayer while we're trying to find just a bunch of red deer to kill for money. Like, that's my only purpose of even going for red deer right now, is just getting money for tents. And of course we find a legendary. Go figure, man. That is insane. Honestly, I think we can make this shot right here. I think that should be good right there. And if it's not, I'll be very, very surprised. And down he goes. Oh my gosh. We got a level 9 from multiplayer as one of the first red deer that we shoot today. Let's see. Will this guy be a diamond? Honestly, he looks really big. I think this is the big variation of this rack, if I'm not mistaken. It is 265. Wow. What an insane trophy to get. We're going to save the harvest for now. I don't want to tax it yet because we're kind of short on cash. We only got 12,000 and I need to save up money for all of the tents that we're going to be purchasing. But man, that is crazy. And I forgot to turn up the sound for screenshots again. You know, every episode, this is going to be a thing. I know I'm never going to remember, but either way, that's a crazy trophy. I honestly never would have expected a diamond to show up today, especially something that isn't a whitetail. That's just awesome. That is such an awesome little treat. Here we've got another red deer. Let's go ahead and get a shot into him. Just gotta wait for him to turn his head again, and that should be good right there. Should be plenty of penetration to get to that lung. And as we back up a little bit more, we start to see a couple others pop into render, including this guy right here. I definitely recommend that if you're using a single shot rifle and you want to get as much as you possibly can down out of one zone, it's good to kind of shoot them as they pop into render, because the ones that haven't rendered in will not spook from the gunshot until they've rendered in. So if you play it right, as you can see, we've got another right here. So there we go. Another red deer. And just like that, we've got 3 of them down in one spot, and that's going to be a good chunk of money. There is number 1, number 2, and number 3. Not too bad. I mean, each of those gave between 1,200 and 1,500 currency, so we're already back up to 18,000. I mean, just since getting that level 9, we've gone up another 6k. Just shows how great red deer are for money. So I think to end this video, let's go ahead and purchase one more of the camo tents because we earned enough money to be able to do so. And now, just like that, we've got 2 more tents to place down for our grind. I hope you all enjoyed this video quite a bit. It was a fun one to do. I did not expect to run into a diamond red deer, so that was a nice little surprise. And it fills another slot in our trophy lodge once we earn more money to actually tax it. But I appreciate everybody watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, as it does help out quite a bit. And also be sure to tick that notification bell and set it to all so that you guys will not miss any of the uploads. It's very important that you have that enabled if you want to be able to see the videos the second they're posted. So definitely recommend doing that if you enjoy getting the content delivered to you as quickly as possible. With that being said, though, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.